Hi, love.
Hi.
A quick one. I usually hear you say, I fear such people, I fear such people. Which people are you usually referring to?
There is a category of people I respect. I fear them, and I actually respect them. People who have one source of income, and they're not planning to look for another source of income. The reason I respect them is because if it were me, I would be filled with anxiety. I would be living under a lot of pressure for the uncertainties life presents. I personally, I would never risk to have one source of income.
Okay.
And even if it's an investment, I respect people who invest all their money in that one venture. Even Ecclesiastes 11:2 is saying the ventures, money should be apportioned in 8 ventures. So Solomon must have known, King Solomon must have known something we do not know. I also, we've talked about networks and growing networks and making networks. I fear and respect people who get the courage to call people they call friends when the need arises. I respect them because...
Why are you shaking tables?
I'm not shaking tables. I'm saying it because if it were me, I would be engulfed in guilt. I wonder whether they also get that guilt and what they do about the guilt. But I'll be engulfed, embroidered, immersed in guilt when I have to call this particular person and the next thing they hear is me asking them for help at that particular moment. I think the best ways, in my view, and the way I'm trying even this year to do it is to nurture the network I have of people who can help me. Once in a while calling them, once in a while messaging them, replying their texts and all that, to make sure.
More like checking in?
Yes, to make sure that by the time I have a problem and I'm to call them for help, we've been having a conversation.
It's not one-sided.
Exactly. So I fear and I respect people who maintain a disposition where they will only call for help when
need arises.
When the need arises. The other category of people I really fear and respect is the group of people who maintain their money, maintain their businesses without any single record. As in, for them, everything is in their mind. Because I remember during the days when I used to lend money, you could have a client who owes you 5 million, but then they pay you 1 million 4 times from the same place. So someone calls you, come pick this 1 million at this particular restaurant. You go another million after some time at that particular restaurant. Another million, which is the third one, at that same restaurant. Another million after the 4th one at that same restaurant. And then they tell you, I think I've paid fully. I'm imagining myself if I did not have records at the time where I could tell that person that actually you've only paid 4 and not 5. What would I have done? I would have lost a full million. Or millions for that matter.
I remember. I don't need the records.
That's why I'm telling you that I fear them. I respect. They must be geniuses for all intents and purposes.
We are.
So, I do not know how you guys do it. The other category is the category of people I respect a lot are people who want wealth and they do not want to put themselves in situations of risk. They want wealth on one hand, but when you tell them that this is how, these are the situations where we might lose this money if we do not do this and this, and the moment they hear the loss of the money, they jump out. I respect people who really want to be wealthy and they fear risk, because I've looked at any amount of money, whether more or little I've made, there has been some element that either I would lose it or gain from that situation. So I've realized that wealth and risk are Siamese twins, and these Siamese twins, they're like the Iranian Siamese twins who were conjoined at the head, that they share the part of the brain, that any attempt to separate them, they die. So wealth and risk are those Siamese twins that you have to position, to put yourself in a situation where there is an element of danger, of loss, or if you do not lose, you gain something. The other category is, and this I respect a lot with all my heart. I even fear these guys. I wonder, how do they do it? The people who intercourse with life and are on the money journey, but they have no financial advisor, they have no tax advisor, and they have no legal advisor. Personally, their mistakes have made in money, and they have all come down to one thing. During that time, I didn't know the law, or I didn't have a lawyer. To the extent that nowadays, everything you're telling me, I'm sieving it through. I'm looking at it from the lens of the law, and I'm also pushing it to my lawyer, or lawyers, to verify, decide, guide. So I'm imagining, how about these people who do not have lawyers, and how much will a lawyer really take? If a lawyer were to advise you for 1 million shillings, just know you can lose 50. If a financial advisor were to advise you for 500,000, just know the risk. You without that advice, and I'm talking about sound advice from either a mentor or from your mentor or an advisor whom you will be paying. So, Nebuza, I ask myself, how do they do it? One source of income, no financial
records,
no financial advisor, no keeping records, wanting wealth without risk taking,
no records.
Yes, and also calling people you call friends only
in terms of need.
Hats off to you guys.
Okay, thank you.